What would you do if the people you swore to protect were threatened in the sanctuary you built for them? When a quiet afternoon at the Ly Tu Tien farm turns into a scene of violence, one man's fury is about to shatter the life of a coward who made the biggest mistake of his miserable existence. The sun is dipping below the horizon, casting long, golden shadows across the vibrant rows of the Ly Tu Tien farm. It's a place of deep peace, a haven CEO Jack constructed as an oasis for the two women who matter most: his elegant, kind-hearted girlfriend, Tu Tien, and his beloved mother, Mother Ly. Today was meant to be simple. They've spent the hours harvesting heavy bunches of bananas and fresh vegetables, preparing a celebratory meal for Jack's return from the city. The air smells of damp earth and coming rain, the kind of evening that promises warmth and laughter. But the silence is suddenly, violently torn apart. The iron gate, usually a symbol of security, shrieks on its hinges. A man in a stained, washed-out blue shirt, a local drifter, known for his volatile temper and his habit of preying on the weak, stumbles into the yard. His eyes are glazed with cheap alcohol, his posture aggressive. He doesn't belong here. He doesn't respect the peace. He's brought something dark and jagged into their sanctuary. "Hey, you old hag," the man barks, his voice slurring but sharp with malice. He points a trembling, dirty finger at Mother Ly. "You think you can just throw your trash wherever you want? I tripped on a banana peel outside your wall yesterday. My leg is swollen, and my wife is sick in a gutter, starving because you people are hoarding wealth." Mother Ly stops, her hand clutching a basket of greens. Her brow furrows in genuine confusion, followed quickly by a spark of indignation. "You wretched man, get off this property," she cries out, her voice steady despite the fear prickling at her skin. "We don't even throw rinds in the alley, we compost everything. You're nothing but a liar and a thief. If you don't leave this instant, I'm calling the police." The man lets out a harsh, mocking laugh, taking a predatory step toward Tu Tien. He eyes the luxury bag resting on the garden bench. "Police? Let them come. By the time they arrive, I'll be 20 million richer, or I'll tear that sign down with my bare hands. Give me the cash now." Tu Tien steps in front of Mother Ly, her heart hammering against her ribs. She's small, but her resolve is iron. "You are clearly intoxicated. Leave, or you will regret this." The man doesn't wait. He lunges. His hand reaches for Tu Tien's bag, and in the chaotic struggle, his shoulder slams into Mother Ly with brutal force. The older woman gasps, her legs buckling beneath her, and she collapses onto the hard, unforgiving dirt. The basket of vegetables spills, greens scattering across the grass like lost hopes. "Meh!" Tu Tien screams, her vision blurring with terror. She drops to her knees, scrambling to shield the older woman from the man's continued reach. "How dare you? You have no soul." The scene is desperate. The man is raising his fist to intimidate them further, his face twisted in a mask of entitlement and greed. Just as he prepares for a final, cowardly strike, the low, guttural growl of a golden retriever echoes through the yard. The farm's two guard dogs have caught the scent of danger. Their fur stands on end, their teeth bared, ready to defend their family. But there is a greater storm arriving. A high-end luxury car tears around the bend of the farm road, tires spitting gravel. The engine roars, then cuts to a sharp, aggressive halt just outside the gate. Before the dust even settles, the driver's door flies open. CEO Jack steps out. He is dressed in a crisp, white shirt, the epitome of professional success, but his eyes are devoid of his usual business warmth. They are cold, terrifyingly sharp, and radiating a protective fury that could crush stone. He sees his mother on the ground. He sees the man looming over his fragile, terrified girlfriend. The air in the garden turns freezing. Jack doesn't walk. He stalks. He covers the distance between the car and the garden in mere seconds, his presence cutting through the fear like a blade. He doesn't look at the dogs. He looks only at the intruder. "What in the hell do you think you're doing?" Jack's voice is low, steady, and infinitely more dangerous than any shout. The man in the blue shirt freezes, his raised hand hovering in the air. He looks at Jack, tall, powerful, radiating the unshakable authority of a man who commands empires, and the color drains from his face. The alcohol-induced courage vanishes, replaced by the cold sweat of a predator who has suddenly realized he is now the prey. Jack stops inches from the man, towering over him, his finger jabbing into the air with lethal precision. "Do you have any idea who you are dealing with? One phone call. That is all it will take to ensure you spend the rest of your miserable life behind bars for trespassing and assault. Is 20 million worth rotting in a cell?" The man stammers, his bravado liquefying. I just wanted compensation." "Compensation?" Jack repeats, his voice rising, vibrating with a tectonic pressure that makes the very air feel heavy. He steps closer, forcing the man to back away until he hits the iron gate. "You laid a hand on my mother. You threatened the woman I love. You want compensation? I'll give you exactly what you deserve. Get off my property, now, before I stop acting like a CEO and start acting like a man who has lost everything." Beside him, the golden retriever lets out a deep, booming bark, the sound vibrating in the man's chest. The intruder doesn't wait for a second warning. He scrambles, his legs tangling in his own haste, and flees toward the road, his pathetic figure disappearing into the twilight as fast as his trembling legs will carry him. The silence returns to the farm, but it is heavy with adrenaline. The sharp, lethal edge of Jack's demeanor shatters instantly. The moment the threat is gone, his knees hit the grass. He doesn't care about his designer trousers or the dirt ruining his pristine shirt. He is at his mother's side in a heartbeat. "Mother, mother, look at me," he pleads, his voice now cracked, thick with a vulnerability he never shows the world. He reaches out, his hands trembling as he inspects her, searching for signs of broken bones or deep bruises. "Tell me you're all right. I am so sorry I should have been here earlier. I am so sorry." Mother Ly, pale but composed, reaches out to stroke her son's cheek. She sees the terror in his eyes, the fear of a man who realizes how close he came to losing his world. She offers a weak, reassuring smile. "I'm fine, Jack. Just a bit of a shock, that's all. If it weren't for our Tu Tien, I would be much worse off. She held me. She protected me." Jack turns his gaze to Tu Tien. She is still kneeling on the ground, her hair disheveled, a smudge of dirt on her cheek. She looks exhausted, but as she meets his eyes, she offers him a soft, gentle smile that pierces through the remnants of his anger. She reaches out to brush a stray piece of dust from his white shirt, a habitual, tender gesture that brings them back to reality. "I'm okay, Jack," she whispers, her voice smooth like silk. "You're here now, that's all that matters. You're home, and we're safe." Jack leans forward, pulling them both into his arms. It is a tight, desperate embrace, the kind that holds the world together when the pieces threaten to drift apart. The little white puppy, sensing the shift in energy, trots over and nuzzles into the pile of their legs, whining softly until Jack reaches down to stroke its head. In the quiet of the garden, the chaos fades into the background. There is only the rhythmic sound of breathing, the cooling evening air, and the realization that their sanctuary, while fragile, is anchored by a love that is unbreakable. "We'll fix the garden," Jack says, his voice muffled against Tu Tien's hair. "We'll make this place even safer. No one will ever step foot here with malice again." Tu Tien rests her head on his shoulder, closing her eyes. She knows his work will call him back to the city, and she knows the world outside their fence is filled with men like the one who just left. But in this moment, under the darkening sky, she feels the strength of his promise. They slowly stand, their movements careful and coordinated. They begin to pick up the spilled greens and the bruised bananas. It is a simple domestic act, yet it feels like a sacred restoration of their life. Every vegetable returned to the basket is a victory. Every small movement is a testament to their resilience. They walk toward the farmhouse together, Jack's arm never leaving his mother's waist, his other hand firmly holding Tu Tien's. The porch light flickers to life, a warm yellow beacon in the deepening night. Inside, the stove is still warm, and the promise of a quiet meal remains. The storm has passed, and what remains is a deeper, more profound sense of duty. Jack looks back at the gate one last time. He knows the danger wasn't just a man in a blue shirt, it was the reminder of how easily peace can be invaded. But as he looks at the two women he loves, he realizes that the farm isn't just wood, iron, and soil. It is the vessel for their shared life, and he is its unwavering guardian. The door to the house closes, sealing out the night. The sounds of their laughter begin to filter through the windows, soft and melodic, blending with the chirping of crickets. The farm is at peace again. The danger is gone, but the bond has been forged stronger in the heat of the conflict. They don't need grand speeches or elaborate apologies. They have each other. They have their home, and for today, that is more than enough. As the moon climbs higher over the Ly Tu Tien farm, the scene remains still, a picture-perfect portrait of a family that has weathered a sudden, violent shift and come out on the other side. They understand now, more than ever, that their connection is the only thing that truly guards them. The trauma of the afternoon will fade, but the image of Jack running toward them, the look of a man willing to burn down his world to protect his own, is a memory that will anchor them forever. The garden beds, once disturbed, are now neatly aligned once more. The gate is locked tight. The world outside continues to spin in its chaotic, unpredictable way, but here, in the heart of the farm, there is only the quiet, steady hum of love, sacrifice, and the enduring strength of a man who knows exactly what he is fighting for. The shadows lengthen, the night deepens, and the Ly Tu Tien farm sleeps, guarded by the silent, powerful promise of a son and a protector who will never let his foundation crumble again. The story doesn't end with a battle. It ends with a return to the warmth of the kitchen, the shared weight of responsibilities, and the quiet, bittersweet relief of those who have survived the darkness and found their way back to the light. Every day, they grow closer, learning that to protect the ones you love is the highest calling of all, a calling that requires not just strength, but the soft, unwavering patience of a heart that knows its true purpose. The farm remains, a testament to the life they've built, and though the world remains uncertain, their future is, at last, shielded by a devotion that nothing can break.